Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Haberstroh. Today, we're going to be reviewing individualized education program expectations. So, IEPs or individualized education programs are really based on the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and federal laws with American Disabilities Act and 504's Title IX civil rights. So, to start, please remember that IEPs are federal and state law. We have to have these individualized education programs. Every single person who is in contact with this child is responsible and will be held accountable for these child's goals. The main thing with individualized education programs are their goals. There have been lots of lawsuits happening because IEPs are happening annually, but there's being no progress made on goals. And that's just not appropriate. That means that we as the specialized academic instructors are not upholding individualized plans for these children. So just starting off, it's a little heavy, but IEPs are federal and state law that have to be followed annually and have to be monitored by their goals and their present levels of assessment or their present levels of educational performance. So just beginning, why are we doing this IEP? It's because it's a law. And two, it's because it's really what's in the best interest of each individual child. There are 13 qualifications for children with special needs, and there has to be an educational disadvantage. So if a child has auditory processing disorder, they hear something, their ears work fine, right? So are you not hearing me? Again, that's not the case. Their ears and their muscles in their ears and their bones in the ears work fine. It's the connection between the central auditory nervous system, their brain, and the frequency of what's going in. So if a child has auditory processing disorder, then that communication is going to be really low. So the documentation is going to have to be really high. So we're going to have to be writing down all the correct answers, writing down all of the IEP dates, writing down everything that the child is doing in accordance to their IEP to make sure that we are following this section. Okay. Then a child who has cerebral palsy or our sort of more immobile children with special needs, we are going to have to do stuff for them. They can communicate to a certain extent. But we're going to have to walk around with them. We're going to have to hold their backpacks. We're going to have to talk with other IAs, AM to PM. But we cannot have just outside conversations. We have to be communicating about that child's IEP goals if we are in this box for them. Now, in collaboration with all of the members, a part of the individualized education program team, being in the with box is the goal. We want to be with the teacher of record or case manager. We want to be with them talking about what are appropriate goals, talk about where they were at and their progress. Every week, a child should be making progress. We want to be talking to the child. If a goal is not pertaining to a child, especially transition or behavior goals, then we're never going to make growth, and therefore we're not following the individualized education program. So we have to be talking to the child about what their goals are, academically, behaviorally, occupational therapists, speech therapists, etc., to make sure that we are with collaborative expectations. We are documenting and high communication with their IEP goals. And then we also need to have a notebook or some sort of folder system as instructional assistants to track their IEP goals. In the resources section, I have added different resources that you can choose from. Having the child, having their goals, and having an anecdotal or sort of SOAP note, subjective, objective, anecdotal, and the performance, what you did to track that child's goal, which you'll be working with the case manager, of course, as well, and making sure that you have a system because you are also accountable for that child's IEP or individualized education program. We are a SPED team working together with each other to making sure that each child, no matter their eligibility or disability, is able to move forward and show progress. Even if they fail, the goal isn't to get them, high school, we want them to be getting diploma track and passing, but we want them showing growth. We want them making their own IEP goals, having that ownership and growing. is the goal. So these IEP expectations here, each child's a little different. Each goal is a little different. So you will be doing different things in these goals. Documentation is needed. Some kids need higher documentation than others. Some communication is needed. AM, PM, parents, teacher of record, PBIS, MTSS coordinators, admin. Some communication is higher or lower. But the individualized education program must be followed with these coordinates and working together.